by, I can hear it. Hang on, it's not a V70, never mind. Oh, it's the London Street Racers.
Oh, he has a bit of a stutter.
and then
to another video. Today we're going to be doing a fleet tour of all of our vehicles that we have in our fleet. Most of them are made by Obsidian Games, some are made by other modders, skinners, so on. So we'll be starting with ERT, RTPC and SCN-019, and then we'll move on to BTP and other emergency services. So yeah, let's go see the
User
ERT
joined your channel.
vehicles. Alright, so we'll start off with the area cars. We have the Passat, that's one of the main area cars that are used. We then have the V40, it's a very nice vehicle, AMPR Interceptor as well. And then we have the 525D, which is also a favoured vehicle of level 1 drivers. So these are our area cars. They're driven by Charlie Whiskey 1, Charlie Whiskey 2, Charlie 1 and Charlie 2. So these are their vehicles only. So now we'll move on to the instant response vehicles. So we have the Ford Focus Estate, the Vauxhall Astra, and the Hyundai i30, and the bike. As much as I don't like to call it an IRV, it is an IIV. It's the Cycle Task Force, very elite squad. So these are the main kind of workhorses of the ERT kind of division. These are what you'll drive when you join. Apart from the bike, you need permission to drive the bike, I think. I'm not too sure though, so don't quote me on that. So you've got these vehicles here as the main vehicles. So now we'll move on to the carriers and the vans, which are behind us. So we've got the Mercedes Sprinter. It's a public order vehicle. They're used for large scale disturbances of any kind. So it has the shield on the front, which goes down. It's a bugger to get back up. A very big bugger to get back up. And then we have this, which is the Ford Transit Custom. This is actually an IRV. People are hesitant to call it an IRV. People are hesitant to call it an IRV, but it is. It's also prisoner transport, so we have either one or two of these out. These guys are very busy throughout the night. And then we have the Ford Tornillo, which is the police support unit, PSU for short. These guys kind of bring more frontline officers. If there is a large-scale disturbance, it's a faster way of getting a lot of officers to one location a lot faster. It's also kind of used as you said, the poster boy car. So when recruitment drives, they'll use this because of obviously it's got all the room in it, and usually all of these transit customs are either being used or they're in the shop for work. They're broken. So these are quite helpful, handy.
User disconnected from your channel.
I quite like the Tornillo personally. It's ELS as well. I believe all of our fleet is ELS, apart from one or two. But yeah. And then we have the Q cars, which is Charlie Whiskey 1-1 and Charlie Whiskey 1-2. These are the unmarked vehicles. Sometimes you'll get picked to drive these, if you're lucky, I would say. I don't really like this Ford Focus on the end, personally. That's just my personal preference. I do have like the Estate, this one right here. I would drive this any day. I really do like this car. Got the i30. It's alright, it's not that fast, front wheel drive, not a big fan. And then you've got the old Astra. God knows how many miles it's got on the clock here. But yeah, this is the Astra. So that concludes the ERT fleet. Move on to RTPC. This is a specialist uniform with the white hat. Iconic. So we're going to have a look at their vehicles now. RTPC has a considerably smaller fleet than ERT, for obvious reasons. I mean, they're not as big as ERT. Most people go into ERT when they join. Alright, so we'll start off with their Traffic Sergeant X5, which is the old E70.
User joined your channel.
Sergeants still drive it though. I think it's only because it says Sergeant on it though that they drive it. So that's the E70, and then this is the F15. This is the new one. This is the nice one. I prefer this one. It's also ELS. I believe it's one of the first to be ELS enabled F15s. So that's very impressive and very nice. And then you have the Shogun, which is not actually allowed to partake in pursuits because obviously it's a Shogun. This is kind of used for RTCs and other kind of investigative purposes. I don't really see traffic driving this a lot. I mean, I really like it personally, but I think just because they can't partake in pursuits, nobody likes to drive it for obvious reasons. Because obviously when you're in traffic, you join to catch people driving cars and to kind of do stuff like that. It doesn't even have an ANPR camera on it. It's more of an admin kind of vehicle. Oh, hang on, it does have ANPR on it. Never mind. It's just kind of built into the back. So that's just kind of for I'm going to say more advanced reasons like RTCs, investigations, stuff like that.
User left your channel.
So now we'll move on to the bike, which is this one, which is the BMW R1 2000S, I want to say, something like that. This isn't allowed to partake in pursuits either. Even if you're just calling up the primary, like the active message bit, you're not even allowed to partake in that. You have to stand down immediately if a vehicle makes off from you on this, which kind of sucks. But it's more for an SEG role. I believe they're actually working on getting the white bikes in as well, which is very impressive. And there's a massive LFB overhaul on the way as well, so we'll talk about that more later. But we'll move over here to their Q cars. You have the V90 and the V40. Out of these two, I don't really like either one, but if I had to, I would definitely go with the V40, which is this one, just because it's smaller, faster. This one's a bit long, a bit big, handles a bit like a boat. Personally, I don't really like it. It's got a nice light setup, but other than that, it's not my cup of tea. So now we'll move on to their main workhorses. So you've got on the end the V70 Interceptor team. This is a specialised ANPR interceptor. I think you get assigned this by Gold Command. Other than that, I don't really see this one out a lot. I think this is newly introduced, like new. And so is this V70 here. This is the normal traffic V70. It's got an ANPR camera on it. I believe all of their vehicles have ANPR on it, apart from like the bike and the unmarked cars, obviously. And then you've got the 525D, which is their main vehicle. This actually has a message board on it, right there. I think it says police though, for if you're on an accident or a traffic stop, something like that. And so does the Shogun. It has a message board on it. I'm not sure what the Shogun actually says though. So yeah, this is traffic. Not as many vehicles, but obviously they're not a massive division. There's a lot of them, but there's not loads of them, if that makes sense. I think it's only like 6, 7, maybe more in there. Anyway, next we'll be moving on to Trojan. So that's all the X5s and stuff like that. To SCNO-19, otherwise known as Trojan. They're the Firearms division, so they are in charge of bringing down threats with firearms. They also carry out kind of raids that involve kind of high risk, with the possibility that there is a firearm or some other kind of mischievous device involved. These guys have become very used recently, due to obviously terror and kind of just policing purposes. Firearms have become a lot more used within London recently for some odd reason. Gangs and stuff like that are using it to settle their kind of debates, because I mean, one bullet could end someone's life. So firearms police are kind of elite. They're kind of in charge of policing the firearms in London. So now we'll move over to their fleet and we'll have a look at their fleet. This is their uniform. Alright, so we'll move over
User
to their
joined
fleet.
your channel.
You have the F-15, which is the 2017, oh, maybe it's not 2017, 2016 or 2017, one of them. So this is one of their main workhorses. I see them using this a lot. I don't really see them using anything else. And then we have the E-70, which is a tad bit older. Don't really see them using this. Both are half Battenberg, the F-15 and this E-70 here. They're both half Battenberg. But this one, right here, the E-70, is not really used that much, purely for the fact it's quite old. So nobody really likes it. The F-15 is a lot faster, a lot more agile. I mean, E-70 is still liked, it's just it's not a primary vehicle that's used anymore. And then we have the E-70 Jam Sandwich, right here. Get a little bit of sound of the sirens.
User left your channel.
You got the E-70 right here, which is the Jam Sandwich. It's a very, very nice vehicle.
User left your channel.
I like it quite a lot, personally. But it's not really used that a lot anymore. It's purely for the fact it's old. Nobody really likes it.
User left your channel.
I mean, that's a 12 plate and that's a 13 plate, so it's not really that new, not really that popular anymore. So we move to their unmarked
User
cars.
left your channel.
You have this X5 E70. This is actually used quite a lot because it blends in with the vehicles that are currently in London. I like it quite a lot. There's not a lot of new X5s. There is a lot of
User
the old
left your
X5s
channel.
though, the E70s. So this is the F15, has a gun locker, shield, enforcer, AED bag, stuff like that in the back of there. Very, very nice vehicles. Move on to their SEG vehicle, which is also a 525D. This is used for the special escort group, so convoys, stuff like that, to block off intersections like roads, make sure a convoy gets where it needs to go safely. It's got a gun locker. I think it's got G360, MP5,
User
and
left your channel.
another rifle. I'm not actually quite sure what the other rifle is though. And it's got the little short shield right there. 02 is its call sign for this vehicle anyway. Very, very nice vehicle. That concludes Trojan. So now we'll move on to BTP. Alright, so moving on we have BTP, which is the British Transport Police. I actually said we were going to go on to like Gold Command vehicle and a dog section vehicle, but I actually forgot about this division. So I'll give you a quick tour of their vehicles. You start off with the Ford Focus Estate, which is one of their IRVs. You then have the Vauxhall Astra, which is one of their IRVs, and then you have the Vauxhall V70, which is an IRV. These three vehicles are kind of the workhorses of BTP. They're the ones that kind of carry the officers from station to station, so they can go to their certain calls and patrol their certain stations. You then have their Vivaro, which is their prisoner transport vehicle. They surprisingly have quite a lot of these Vivaros. They're very cheap, low maintenance, and very fast. You then have their Firearms vehicle. It's the only Firearms vehicle they have for us anyway, which is their V70. You got two AED bags. I mean, they can also provide medical support
User
if
left
someone
your channel.
falls onto the tracks or gets hit by a train. I mean,
Buddy left
the
your
mortality
channel.
rate if you get hit by a train is very high. But other than that, this is their Firearms vehicle. Alpha 301. Their vehicles actually have the call signs on it as well. So we have Bravo 46 right here, which is their van. And then you have, not actually, Alpha 32, which is another one of their response vehicles. Bravo 313. And Bravo 32. So these are their vehicles. Moving on next, we actually have the other divisional vehicles. So, see you then. So next up is dog handler. So the dog vehicles are just in front of me here. DSU or dog section is a very vital role. However, there isn't. We haven't really. Well, Gold Command has not decided which division they're actually going to go to yet. So they're in between Trojan and ERT. So if it goes to Trojan, only Trojan officers will be able to be it. If it goes to ERT, only ERT will be able to be it. Personally, I really like dog section. It's a very valuable role. You know, it's kind of. Personally, I just really enjoy being dog section. It's one of those roles that you kind of get quite a big success out of doing it. Because I mean, you've got your own dog. Well, you have two. You have a general purpose dog, and then you have your sniffer dog, which is either trained for firearms, drugs, or explosives. And that's your sniffer dog. And then you have your general purpose, which is usually a German Shepherd. And your sniffer is usually your general purpose. So basically, yeah, you get the point. And then, so we have two vehicles. We have the Mondeo, half Battenberg edition. All of our vehicles, the dog section, are air conditioned, so the dogs get the best experience and they're nice and cool in the back of the vehicles. If it's either hot or cold, so our vehicles provide that. So this is the Mondeo. Very nice, very nice vehicle. I like it quite a lot. And then we have the van. I don't really see a lot of communities using this van. It's very unique, very nice vehicle again. The dogs are in this little back section here. This is their cages. This one actually has 4. So usually it will have 2 general purpose dogs, and then maybe an explosives dog, and maybe a firearms dog. This is kind of like the specialised van for specialised dogs. So yeah, this is used for kind of public order incidents. This is one of those public order vans that doubles up as a dog section van. So if there's a massive public order incident going on, this vehicle will be deployed, and then they'll open the rear doors. Usually they can put whatever they want in here really. CTSFOs have 4 kill dogs, and sometimes they will actually be putting these vans right here, just to be transported to the scene of whatever's going on. So yeah, this is a dog section. Now we'll move on to the hue cars, or as some people like to call them, the colour cars, which is basically all of our unmarked fleet. So we'll have a look at that now. Alright, so now we'll move on to the colour cars. These vehicles are kind of like the fast response unmarked vehicles. They're usually used by specialist divisions. We used to have a division called SCD7 or SDC7, one of them, and that was kind of the detectives. These are used by I don't really know who actually uses these cars, but they're the unmarked assets basically. This is basically our massive unmarked fleet. There's some vehicles in here that I've actually only seen in this community. So we'll have a look at them now. Got the Subaru. It's very fast. Makes a very nice sound as well. Unmarked, very inconspicuous. Moving on, you have the Skoda VRS. Don't think this is ELS, however everything else is ELS. So this is ELS. This one isn't actually ELS though. And then you've got the X5 F15, which is the newer X5. However, this one is not a firearms vehicle, just a normal unmarked X5. Next we have the BMW 330D. This is one of my favourite vehicles in the fleet. Very nice lighting setup. Got little lights on the side, lights on the back. Very, very nice vehicle. Very, very nice vehicle. The Golf GTI, sorry, not a massive fan of this. Just a normal Golf. Quite a lot of blue lights on it. Next we've got the Insignia. Not a massive fan of this. It is actually very fast though. I don't really like this vehicle. I had to drive it in my previous community. I think the less said about that the better. But this vehicle right here isn't my favourite. But now this is the S60. This is actually one of my favourite vehicles that is currently in the fleet. Literally adore this vehicle. Very nice. I believe it's original to this community as well. So this is a very, very nice vehicle right here as well. And then we have the Sprinter, which usually draws everyone's attention. It's basically I don't really know what this is used for. Surveillance maybe, like a command vehicle. I have no clue. But it's a very nice vehicle. Don't think it actually has cages in the back though. But I'll just show you like the sound I was on about with the Subaru. Very, very nice vehicle right there. So that's the colour cars right here. Quite a lot of them. So if you're lucky enough when you specialise, you might be lucky enough to actually get one of these vehicles to drive. So yeah, next we'll move on to the NPAS helicopter, which is a National Police Air Service. Alright, okay, moving on to LFB. We have the officer vehicle, or the station manager vehicle right here. It's the Volkswagen Passat. Very nice vehicle. Moving on, we have the dual pump ladder Mercedes Atigo. I believe this is actually the 2017 version. Right here. Very, very big vehicle. This is the Soho fire station, so it has the Soho sticker on it, right there. Anyway, LSB, Obsidian Games, have actually said that they're going to make a load of new LFB vehicles. I'll put these pictures in now, if I can, of the new vehicles that we're going to be getting. There's loads, and they're going to be for us only. So if you're interested in LFB or anything fire related, we have a whole LFB division, which in official patrols you will respond to fires, RTCs, and loads of things like that. Basically, you're basically a firefighter, so you'll get the mobilised call, and then you respond. I think there's going to be a video coming out soon of what fires are actually like, and you'll be able to see what they actually do. So this is basically just LFB. That's their vehicle tour. We'll move on to LAS. So these are the advanced paramedics. They go to all the serious calls, cardiac arrests, RTTs, and so on. So this is a Skoda Octavia. I believe it's custom to our community only. All the equipment in the back, all the sliders, stuff like that. Then you've got our own custom skinned LAS X5 E70 as a RRV. Then over here you've got the officer car. This is for the people that are basically in charge, like the operation manager. Has a little board on the back as well. Pops up saying ambulance. Right there. Stays like that as well. Very, very nice vehicle. So now we'll move on to the Mercedes Sprinter and the bike. This here is the biker uniform. I believe we are actually the only community that has this biker uniform as well. Very nice bike. I'll also show you another feature we have. If you type /LO, it comes up with this list here. Every paramedic has a stab vest. If you go into a major incident and it's like a collapsed building or something, you actually have the option to have a helmet on. So if the building's collapsing or stuff like that, you have a helmet for added protection. It's the first community I've ever seen that actually has that, and that's on every single ped. That's LAS anyway. So, yep, very, very cool, very clever. And now we'll move on to the other divisions and the other vehicles that we actually have. Alright, so moving on, we have all the vehicles that fall into the category other. These could be police vehicles, forensics vehicles, network rail vehicles, highway England vehicles, private ambulances, everything like that. So we'll start over here on this far side. We have a security Astra, a very reliable little vehicle. We then have a HM Prison Services van, an escort van. We then have the prisoner van, which you can transport prisoners in. We then actually have an AMPR vehicle, or van, sorry. It says City of Westminster, you can see it there. Oh, you can't because of the hat. You see AMPR cameras in operation, keeping Westminster safe. This basically has cameras in the back here through these windows. That AMPR, when a vehicle drives past, it will pick up the plate, read it through AMPR, and if it has a plate, it will alert officers. If the network rail incident response unit, if a train derails, if there's any incidents on trains, anything like that, someone falls on tracks, this vehicle's there. Very rugged vehicle. Then have the Highways England vehicle, Shogun. By the way, all these vehicles are actually ELS. Even though they have orange lights, they are actually ELS. You hear a little click when I turn the lights on. There you go. I can turn the message board off. I can have it so it's like that. It has rear reds. There's so many opportunities with these vehicles for civilians and so on. We then have our own tow truck. This is actually ELS enabled as well. Very, very big tow truck. Got the little orange lights there, you can see. Orange lights on the back. Very, very clever. We then have our own private ambulance, Mercedes Vito. You'll see the bodies go in the back there. This does not have any lights on it. Sorry. This does not have any lights on it, but it's just cool to have a private ambulance, coroner. We'll then move over here. We have two escort vehicles, which are very, very... I've never seen this, basically. I've never seen this ever before. All the ELS, rear reds, everything. So you got a Range Rover, sorry, right there. You got the 325D here, fitted with orange lights. And then you've actually got a Heathrow vehicle. I've never seen this vehicle either. It's maintenance for the airport staff vehicle. You know, actually have a SEG Mercedes Vito unmarked. It's fitted with blue lights and sirens. Very nice vehicle. Then got the Forensic Services van. Just here. No lights, no sirens, nothing like that. Just a bog standard Ford Transit Custom. Obviously with a bit of livery on it. Forensic Services. Then move over here, we have the Gold Command vehicle. This has to be one of my favourite vehicles. It's actually unmarked. Sadly only Gold Command can drive it unless it's a unofficial. and then you can drive it, which is, I love that vehicle. And then you've got the demonstrator vehicle, which is basically a demonstrator for the police for their driving. I think this is used for Hendon, I'm not too sure. Blue dots and sirens. It doesn't actually have the Metropolitan Police sign on the side of it though. Quite surprising, but oh well. So this is all of our, I guess you could say, other vehicles. So we have a lot of civilian vehicles as well. I will show them, but there's a lot of them, so we'll skip to that bit. Alright, so now I'm going to show you all of our civilian vehicles. As you can see, there's a fair few. So we'll start here. I'm not going to read out all the names of them obviously because there is so many. And I forgot to mention earlier, LAS, we don't actually have a HEM shop yet. We would prefer to actually have something that qualifies to real life, not a police helicopter with a different skin on it. So we've decided to wait to purchase, well, I think Obsidian Games is actually going to purchase a new helicopter and skin it just for us. I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. Obviously I'm hoping it's going to happen, just to add to the realism of RTCs and stuff. But for now, we use this helicopter. It's not that bad. I like it quite a lot. Obviously, we prefer to have this than a reskinned MBAS helicopter, which is just completely unrealistic. So we'd prefer to use kind of like the, I think it's the West Ambulance Service that uses this. I'm not sure what HEMS it actually is, but obviously we prefer to have a realistic HEMS than one that really isn't realistic, so we've decided to go with this. So yep, that kind of concludes this video. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave it a like, leave a comment of what you thought, and I'll leave the application also in the description. If you fancy joining us, you can be civilian, LAS, LFB, police, and I believe BTP is actually going to be coming soon, so you can be a BTP officer. So that concludes it from me. We'll basically, I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully we're going to start getting some patrol videos out soon, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video.